Have you ever stopped to wonder why sometimes bad things seem to happen to really good people?
Or the opposite, right? Someone seems to get away with everything.
Exactly. It makes you think. Well, today we're diving into a really ancient story. It's from Buddhist scriptures, and it explores exactly that kind of question.
That's right. We're looking at the Dhammapada, a Hakatho, specifically the story of a monk, Cakkhupāla.
Cakkhupāla, yeah. And the circumstances around why he was born blind, it's quite a story.
It is. And we've got the narrative itself. The part about a doctor, a woman with failing eyesight.
And a pretty serious betrayal, actually.
And then we also have the commentary, the Ahakatha, which unpacks the Buddhist ideas behind it all, especially karma.
Right, the whole cause and effect thing. So our aim today, for you listening, is to get a handle on this story and what it reveals about that link, the one between our actions and what happens to us.
And we're really zooming in on this concept called kata kamma vasena.
Kata kamma vasena, which means...
It's where the power of deeds done. How our past actions, basically, influence the present.
Okay, so the story itself, it kicks off with a bit of a mystery, doesn't it?
It does. The Buddha is explaining that this monk, Cakkhupāla, was born blind. And he says it's because of his own past actions, atana kata kamma vasena.
Which naturally makes everyone ask.
Well, what did he do?
Yeah.
That's exactly what the other monks asked the Buddha, Kimpan Vande Tenakatanti. They wanted the backstory.
You need the details. And like a lot of these teaching stories, we get a flashback.
We're transported way back to the city of Barasi.
A king was ruling there at the time.
Right. And in that life, the person who would later become Cakkhupāla was actually a doctor.
A traveling doctor.
Yeah, going through villages and towns, practicing medicine. And one day, he encounters a woman. Her eyesight is weak, kakudzubalam etim disva.
Okay, so he sees she needs help.
Right. And he asks her about it, offers to make medicine for her. Bizajante karisamiti. Seems pretty straightforward.
Just a doctor doing his job. Seems kind.
It does. And the woman, she's clearly desperate. She asks him to please help her, and then she makes this huge promise.
Which was?
She says, look, if you can restore my sight, make my eyes normal again, then I, along with my children, will become your slaves. Sasme achini paketi kauni kotono sakisasi saten putadani dasi bafisaminti.
Wow. Okay, that's a serious vow. Slavery for her and her kids.
Absolutely. A massive commitment. So the doctor gets to work.
And he succeeds.
He does. He prepares the medicine, and the text says with just one application, her eyes were back to normal.
Incredible. So, happy ending. She keeps her promise.
Well, this is where it twists.
Oh.
She can see perfectly now, but then she starts thinking, I promised to be his slave.
Yeah.
But he probably won't treat me kindly. She starts having second thoughts about the whole slavery thing.
Okay, I can maybe understand the hesitation, but she made a promise.
Right. And instead of trying to renegotiate or, offer something else, she decides to deceive him. Vancha saminanti. I'll trick him.
Oh, no.
So the doctor comes back, checks in, asks how her eyes are doing.
And she lies.
Flat out lies.
Yeah.
She says, Pobiyami achini tokam rushensu idani ater kataram rushantiaha. Before, my eyes hurt a little, but now they're hurting even more.
Wow, after he cured her, that's quite the betrayal.
Exactly. And the doctor, well, he's no fool. He figures it out pretty quickly.
He realizes she's lying.
Yeah. He thinks, Ayamam sedfa kinchi adatukama. She's trying to deceive me to avoid paying up. He feels cheated. But then his thoughts take a dark turn.
How so?
He thinks, Noma etaya dinapatiyo ato, idanitam and hamkari samiti. I don't care about the payment anymore. Now I'm going to make her blind.
Whoa, just like that. Revenge.
A vengeful thought, born out of feeling wronged. He goes home, tells his wife, apparently.
What is it?
The story just notes she remained silent. Which is interesting in itself.
Yeah, leaves you wondering.
So the doctor acts on his anger. He goes back, prepares another medicine.
Not a curing one this time.
No. He tells her, good woman, apply this medicine.
And she does, trusting him again.
It seems so. She applies it. And the result. It's brutal.
What happens?
Grevakini di pasihao via vidainsu. Her two eyes were extinguished, just like the flame of a lamp being snuffed out.
Oh, that's horrific. He actually blinded her.
He did,
Yeah.
driven by that vengeful thought. And then the Buddha brings it full circle.
This is the connection.
This is the connection. He reveals. So Vejo Cakkhupāla ahosi.
Yeah.
That doctor from the past life. That was Cakkhupāla.
So that act is the Kamma, the deed that led to his blindness in this life.
Precisely. And the Buddha really hammers this point home. He says to the monks, Bhikkhave tada mama putana katakama pachado anubandhi. Monks, the deed my son did back then followed right behind him.
We'll follow him
like a wheel, follows the foot of an ox pulling a cart.
Papa kamam, hinametam durom bahato bolivadasa padam kakam via anogachateti. Evil kamma, bad actions, they stick to you, they follow you relentlessly.
That oxen wheel image is powerful, isn't it? You can't outrun it.
It really paints a picture of inevitability. The consequence is just there, trailing right behind the action.
And then the Buddha gives that famous verse, right? The one about the mind.
Yes, a core teaching, manopupanjama tapma manosita manomaya. Dhamma's things, experiences have mind as their forerunner, mind as their chief. They are made of mind.
So everything starts with the mind.
Everything. And the verse continues. Manasa sepaduhenna basati va karoti va. Tatonando kamanveti kakkamba va hato padanti. If you speak or act with a corrupted mind.
Like the doctor's vengeful mind.
Exactly. Then suffering follows you, just like that wheel follows the ox's foot.
It's so direct. Mindset, action, consequence.
And the commentary, the Ahakatha, dives even deeper into this verse.
Okay, so how does it break it down? Well, it explains mano-mind. Here refers specifically to that moment of consciousness in the doctor that was filled with, anger and ill will.
The corrupted part, paduana manasa.
Right. It says the mind is the buhanjama, the forerunner, for our feelings, perceptions, mental formations, the other mental aspects. It's the condition for them arising. Like the ringleader in a group.
It leads the way.
Leads the way. And it's Manosiha, the chief, the boss, because it directs everything.
Okay.
And Manomaya, formed of mind, means these experiences are produced by the mind.
Got it. So the mind isn't just the start, it actually shapes the experience itself.
Precisely. Then it talks about that paduhana manasa, the corrupted mind. It says the mind can be defiled by things like greed, hatred, like the doctor's desire for revenge. These are like temporary stains on our underlying consciousness.
And when the mind is stained like that, pasativa karotiva.
You speak or act out of that defilement. You engage in misconduct, verbal, physical, even purely mental.
Which leads inevitably to tatunanda kamanveti.
Suffering follows, dukkha. Whether it's suffering in lower realms in future lives, or, physical and mental suffering right here in human existence. It's the result.
And it follows just as surely as.
Vakakamwa vahato padam. As the wheel follows the ox's foot, the commentary really emphasizes you can't shake it off. The ox is yoked. The wheel is attached. It follows whether the ox goes forward or backward. The consequence is tied to the action.
It's a pretty stark lesson about responsibility, isn't it? Our thoughts, our intentions, they have real weight.
Absolutely. And, the story concludes by saying that after the Buddha gave this teaching, really explaining the mechanics of it, 30,000 monks attained arahantship, a high level of enlightenment with deep analytical understanding, the pasamphita.
Wow, 30,000. So clearly, understanding this principle was incredibly transformative for them.
Hugely beneficial, the text says. It really resonated.
So wrapping this up, what's the core message for someone listening today?
I think the story of Cakkhupāla is just such a vivid illustration of karma, It's not random punishment.
Right, it's cause and effect playing out, even across lifetimes. His blindness wasn't just misfortune. The story links it directly back to a specific, harmful action driven by a vengeful state of mind.
Exactly. And the Buddha's teaching, especially that verse, points straight back to the mind as the source. A corrupted mind leads to harmful actions, which lead to suffering. It's like an equation.
That wheel following the ox.
That wheel just keeps rolling. It puts the responsibilities squarely on us, on our intentions, our mental states.
So maybe a final thought to leave people with. It's about looking inward, isn't it?
I think so. Reflect on your own intentions. Right now, today. How might the thoughts you're having, the way you're choosing to react or act, how might that be setting things in motion?
Shaping future experiences, maybe in ways we can see, maybe in ways we can't yet.
Yeah. This ancient story is really an invitation, an invitation to consider that deep connection between what's going on inside our heads and the reality we actually live.